Hi, I'm Allison Hodges, training at Marion C. Moore to be a chef, and today I'm going to show you how to make a strawberry cheesecake crepe. So for our crepe batter, we're using 2 cups of whole wheat white flour, which you could also substitute for all-purpose flour or regular whole wheat flour, 2½ cups of whole milk, 4 eggs, 4 tablespoons of melted butter cooled, 2 tablespoons of sugar, ½ teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and some butter on the side for cooking. And then for our cream cheese whipped cream filling, we're using 1 3/4 cups of heavy whipping cream, 8 ounces of cream cheese room temperature, 1 cup of powdered sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And for our strawberry compote, you will need 1 pound of strawberries, 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of water to adjust the thickness. So the first thing we're going to do is sift all our dry ingredients. Here I have our flour. And then I have our sugar and our salt. And then we're going to sift that. Make sure you get stuff on the edges. Okay, good. So next we're going to add in our eggs, our vanilla, and our cooled melted butter. And then we're going to whisk it. Now it's okay that there's more dry ingredients than wet ingredients. We just kind of want to get it to a paste consistency, like a dry paste. And building this well in the center helps allow all of it to mix in. And then once it's kind of mixed with like a well of the drier ingredients with the paste in the center, we're going to start adding the milk in, about 1/2 cup at a time. About that. Better. See, so we still have some dry, so we're going to add a little bit more milk before we add the rest. So now that we have our thick paste, I'm going to go ahead and add in about half of what our milk has left. I'd be very gentle so it doesn't splash everywhere. Make sure to get all of the edges of the bowl so there's no thickness in it. As you can see, it's about half the thickness as it was before. Now we're going to go ahead and add the rest of our milk. Okay, now that you can see that it's very thin, our batter is complete. And now we're going to let it rest in the fridge for about 20 minutes while we make our strawberry compote. Now I'm going to cut our strawberries. So the first thing you're going to do is cut off the stem, losing as little strawberry as possible. And then I'm going to stick that into a compost bucket. Then you're going to cut our strawberries in half. And then cut thin slices, but not too thin. You want them to be able to be soft in the sugar solution when boiled after a few minutes. And make sure you don't cut your fingers. It should look something like that. Now that I have all my strawberries cut and my hands freshly washed, I'm going to pour in my sugar, my lemon juice, and my cornstarch. Give that a quick stir. Make sure everything's incorporated. There we go. To medium high. And let that reduce and bring it to a boil. Now that it's beginning to boil, we're going to keep stirring it. We want to make sure that it gets thickened. So right now it's kind of juicy, but it's starting to thicken. As you can see, when I pull back, it doesn't move so much towards the center as fast. So maybe like another minute. Also, you could reduce the heat if it's become too hot. See, I'm using a gas burner, so it gets hot quicker, but if you're on electric, medium high should still be good. Our strawberries are softened by now, so it's just about thickness. This is about good. Has a nice smooth movement, right thickness. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat because we have to remember that when it cools a little bit, it will thicken as well. So now we're going to make our cream cheese whipped filling. I stuck the bowl to my stand mixer and our heavy whipping cream in the freezer for 3 to 5 minutes to make sure they're extra cold for whipping purposes. To make it, we're going to start by adding in our 8 ounces of cream cheese. Now we are going to whip this until it's smooth. We may need to scrape the bowl in between mixing. So now that our whipped cream and cream cheese is at soft peaks, we are going to go ahead and add in our vanilla and our powdered sugar. Start off slow so you don't get powdered sugar everywhere. Once it's kind of mixed, you can speed it up. This should only take a few seconds. Now that our vanilla and powdered sugar are incorporated, we're going to scrape the sides to make sure there's no residue, and then whip it for a few more seconds. As you can see, it's pretty thick already. It's perfect for filling our crepes or even topping a cake. Okay. We're going to mix a few more seconds. As you can see, when I pull up, it holds its shape on the whisk. That's how you know it's stiff. Now that I've got my station cleaned up and my hands washed, we're ready to start making our crepes. So I'm first going to start by turning on my burner on a medium-high heat. We'll let that heat up a little bit. Once it's heated up a little bit, I'm going to add some butter to my pan and let that melt. Once that's melted, I'm going to take a 1/4 cup measurement and fill it a little less than full. And with my pan raised, I'm going to pour the crepe batter into the pan, swirling as I pour. I'm going to distribute the crepe batter evenly across my pan and then set it back down. We're looking for the edges to get a little crispy. You can see that they're starting to get a little cooked, so I'm going to use this skewer. You could also use a toothpick or a spatula and kind of move it around the edges. And once I got it all the way moved, use my fingers and the skewer and flip it. You want some color. It's okay if it's kind of spotted. The butter does that. But you want to make sure it's all the way cooked through. We're just going to let it cook all the rest of the way through. About 30 seconds. And once your pan's heated up, you can turn it down a little bit if it's getting hot. It's probably about good. Slide it onto your plate. And then you're ready for the next crepe. Add a little bit more butter. Then I'm going to add my 1/4 cup of the batter, swirling as I pour. Making sure to evenly distribute it across the pan. So here I'm finishing up our crepes. The crepe recipe I used, I doubled, so this makes about 16 to 24 crepes. Cook a little bit. So now with my hands freshly washed and all our crepes made, it's now time to assemble our crepes. So I'm first going to start with a crepe, and I'm going to get a dollop of our filling and spread it all across our crepe. You just want a thin layer. Once that's done, we're going to fold over once and fold again, making a triangle. These we're going to stack on top of our plate. I'm going to do about 3 or 4 of those. So here I am again doing a thin layer of our cream filling on top of our crepe. Since our crepes are slightly warm and our cream is still cold, it will melt a little bit, making it nice and creamy and more spreadable. And we're going to fold again, fold once more, stack. The thing about plating is you want to have shapes. So not everything needs to be picture perfect. Sometimes you have to have angles and good textures on it. Like our strawberry compote will add a little bit of pop of color to our plating. going to do one more. Okay. And then with our strawberry compote, we're just going to set it on top. Spread it out. Allowing it to drip along the sides. Maybe get some of the wholer pieces of strawberry and adding little bits on the edge. And then we're going to add a little bit of powdered sugar, which is optional, to the top. Down there. Just tapping the edge of our sifter. Going all the way around. And there. Then you have your strawberry cheesecake crepes. Thank you for watching my video on how to make strawberry cheesecake crepes. And thank you, Chef Sanborn, for mentoring me in my journey to become a chef and putting me in the real world and giving me real life experience.